Back to working on the Mercedes. Simple stuff today, plugs and wires. Got some UGK plugs and some man filters. Interesting. Alright, this should be pretty straightforward. Little hood trick here maybe. Yep. That is such a great feature. All right. Such a weird stuff gets in there. Boots. These days we'll pressure wash under here. Get it all cleaned up. Not today though. The air filters look pretty straightforward. And so the spark plugs, look at that. It's amazing how easy things are when the engine's mounted in the right direction. Yeah, do some Torx bits, some extensions. This will be easy. Nothing on here. Oh, jeez. Oh, in other news, we were in a bit of a hurry, so I didn't film it, but the engine's out of the parts car. Came out like nothing. It was super easy, right out the front. So, maybe later this week or next weekend, I'll start tearing that apart, get the transmission off of it, get it on a stand. You can see we already started taking the turbo off of it. Or already got the turbo off of it. So we'll take the intake side apart, transmission off, and see what we can do with that. So yeah, sorry I didn't film it, but we were in a bit of a hurry that day, so just kind of got it done. Now the next thing on this is to spin it around. Gas tank, whole rear subframe assembly, differential, and drive shaft got to come. So that'll be fun to do on the ground. But that's another day. We're doing German stuff today. That's not what I want. It's a little loose. Doesn't fit. Okay. 27. Let's try that one. Yeah. No, that's not quite right. 25 it is. we go. Crap out of the way. Let's see how bad these look. Fram filters. Oh, wow. Wow. So he was driving through a field. Clean that out there. Let's see how terrible these filters are for how cheap they were. Yeah, they look exactly the same. Typical paper filter. Should we get that seal all down in there, right? Let's see what this one looks like. Something rattling around in there. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Wow. All right. Second man filter. Same story. I see they kind of press in there. Should have done that first on the other one. It's all right. And this is one job where you don't want to use an impact or a drill or any of this stuff, because this is plastic. Course started screws, and you'll just end up either breaking a tap or stripping a hole or snapping a screw in half, and it's just not worth the time. Less than a minute that it's going to save you overall. There's no reason to do it. Good set of hand tools. It's 4 screws per side. Snug them up. Call it done. So, next is spark plugs. Just look really nice and easy to get to. Take a look at this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the other side. It's like 2 bolts per coil. That should be a walk in the park. I'm gonna get some spray and see if we can get some of this dirt off the engine before we do this. Just to keep any crud from falling down in the spark plug hole. So one of these days we'll pressure wash under there and clean everything up, but not today. And you know how this usually goes, is you start with one part of the engine and you decide, you know what, I should just do this to the rest of the engine. Next thing you know, you've gone through 5 cans of solvent, and your engine looks very different. Way too big. It's about right. That's it. C30 it is. Very nice. Those are all cracked. Our handy diagnostic screwdriver here. We will pop. Alright, let's find the tool of which I have 100, but can only ever find one. Question is, where did it end up? Was I smart? Is it in here? It's not in there. Haha, there's one. These little suckers. Yes, I know they're not the best thing in the world for gapping spark plugs, but I can keep a hold of 50 of them and eventually find one of them. And they work. They do the job. This ain't no race car. It's a stock sedan. The gap isn't going to make that big of a difference. So let's figure out what the gap's supposed to be. A little bit of Googling. Trying to find a post or something that didn't involve a compressor car or an AMG car. And figured out it's 0.032 is what everybody seems to be saying. Some say 0.03 or 030, some say 031. But also with 032, it'll be fine. So let's see where these line up. Beautiful. These are all gapped. Good to go. Set this on standby just in case. Nice and dry, that's good. Way down in there. There we go. 3 for 3 on that side. They look very consistent. No obvious issue there. Let's get these guys in. Holes all look clean and dry, which means no oil gasket or top cover gasket issues. Gently. There we go. Sure, there's a torque fit for those, but only ever had a spark plug come out on me once. I'm not too worried about it. Let's get this. There we go. Nice and tight, not floppy. Make sure we put our wires back in. There we go. Update on our gasket fix from the first Mercedes video. Not a drop out of that, not a drop out of the back. Car's been doing great. Let's get the belt while we're in here. The belt looks healthy. Alright, let's put our intake back on. And last piece. Finito. Start it and run it. Before we do that, we'll take a look at these. They look pretty good. They look consistent. Like I said before, I'm not going to pretend to be some tuning, drag racing god that can tell you exactly what this color means because it's this shade and there's that much oil. But what I can tell you is all 6 cylinders are the same. That means, in my mind, there's no glaring issue. There's no excessive oil in any of them. None of them black. None of them are any more wet than the other. So that leads me to believe that everything's okay. So start it up, see what happens. Another little update. Stereo, usually, there we go, is working great. There we go, we idled down. Still a little bit of a hunt and definitely a little bit of a miss when it revs up at a cold idle. But it's no different, no better, no worse than before. Seems to rev okay. Well, I'm going to call that a success. Just got to clean up the shop. Go for a test drive and get some dinner. Call it a day.